I'm the only one calling in my entire county. I have no competition. Am I overcalling them? Zero competition.
This is 90-ish day cycles. So right around 90 to 120, they're going to start to pop. Response rates for texting is much higher. It's like 17% versus like 2%. With your skill set, you will take less. I know you will. What you're doing is you're diversifying lead sources, and you're also beginning to swim in pools of data that have high degrees of motivated, qualified people in them. I'm just pleased that you are calling them.
I got a probate question here for you. How often are you calling them? Right now, I'm calling them for about the first 10 days, then putting them into a monthly drip, going to call them once a month from there. Am I overcalling them? How often should we be calling these folks?
No, I think that's fine. I'm just pleased that you are calling them.
Yeah, I got over that hump. We're calling them. I just have so few, Aaron. I mean, I'm getting like 10 to 20 a month in my county.
Okay. Have you considered expanding into other counties?
The other counties are even smaller.
What I did was I was doing it in 3 counties. I was doing it in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. The reason I stopped doing Dade is because what I noticed experientially, just like culturally, that's a very Hispanic kind of focus area. And a lot of Hispanics, the tendency is to hold on to the properties where there's people like living in them. They become like multi-generational. So then I was just calling into like Broward County and Palm Beach County, and Palm Beach County in particular, because there's just a lot of older people there. But Palm Beach County, I was going like an hour to take a listing, right? But 30% of those people, 30 to 40%, you're never going to have to physically go to the property because they don't even live here. You know what I'm saying? So we could just do a Zoom appointment, send you DocuSign, you sign it, put it on the market, get a contract, send you DocuSign, and then we're good, right? I send a photographer to go take pictures and like, whatever, put a lockbox on. That's one option. The second is multifaceted, trying to connect with them. So not just calling, but texting with the same kind of opening. We loaded those into our follow-up boss, so it was easy to just like click and text after I call if they don't pick up. Response rates for texting is much higher. It's like 17% versus like 2%. And another option is to try to send them something in the mail. So to just be like a concentrated, concerted like effort to get in front of them. With your skill set, you will take less. I know you will. It's just a matter of, having enough of them and people are, picking up. Then the other thing I would propose, so this is like a really good source. And if you live in a place that's small and perhaps has less of a density of older people like the way other geographic areas might, it's still a good lead source though, because they are highly motivated, because most of them are free and clear, like it's good, right? So I don't think it makes sense to pivot away, but like it could be also too, to add other things to it. Like turning on those cash offer leads, because those are people that reach out their hand and say, I want a cash offer in your market. And because your market's small, the probably cost per lead is probably less, I know it is, than it would be in like Jose's market, where it's like $400 a lead and yours might be like 100. What you're doing is you're diversifying lead sources, and you're also beginning to swim in pools of data that have high degrees of motivated, qualified people in them.
One thing also, I kind of looked into other counties, but they're just simply at this point, no services service those county, because there's just no, you're going to laugh at me too, Aaron, when I'm talking to these people. I'm the only one calling in my entire county. I have no competition.
I know, dude, it's crazy, right?
Zero competition in Smith County, but outside of my counties, there's nobody that services those leads. So the only way to get them would be I'd have to have somebody physically go.
Yeah. And again, so it's like success leaves clues. So what's really interesting is you're noticing a few things. Like one, I had a sneaky suspicion that was the case, but now we have confirmation. You're like, bro, nobody's even calling these people. Like nobody. So that's like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
You have no competition. So
zero.
Then the question is it worth figuring out? Now, I would suggest it is. Where it's like, hey, is there somebody in my life? Like first, if I physically go, which I know is a pain, trust me, when I went down the courthouse, like I was, cursing under my breath sort of thing. Like, that's like such a pain. But it's worth it long term. And then I can find somebody in my life that needs a little extra cash and send them to go get it. That's what I did. So like my mother-in-law would go and get our probate data. She did that for years, bro, probably like 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'd pay her $5, $6, $7, $800 a month to just go get it. But it was worth it.
Maybe for now, since I don't have that competition, just go to the other counties once a month.
Yeah.
And go pull them, and then
so you don't have to be as competitive as I was, because people were pulling it. I was pulling it every week, but like you have zero competition. Just go every month.
Right. Okay, I'll do that.
And then what will happen over time is you'll get this like nice little just database of these leads.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks now. I'm already seeing traction for sure. It's gonna probably 3 months from now. I'll come back and say, man, I got 10 listings. It's gonna happen.
100%. I know it is, dude. And like,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. You're right. This is 90-ish day cycles. So right around 90 to 120, they're going to start to pop. You'll start to take 2 or 3, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is awesome.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, Christian, what's up?
I had a quick question. In terms of calling probates, I'm used to calling like expireds, and I'd get on the phone like really early.
Yeah.
Do you have a certain time that you start calling probates?
They're not time sensitive. Or let me say, they're a lot less time sensitive. So in other words, like with expires, if you're not 1 or 2, like challenging, it's an uphill battle, right? But probates aren't. I think if you want to start calling them at 8, fine. You want to start calling them at 9, fine. Like there's just a lot more flexibility that you have. It's kind of like a for sale by owner, where there's just less urgency to get them on the phone right away. Now, I think it still applies where like, I got to interrupt you. I'm going to have to interrupt you in the day, interrupt you at night, interrupt you in the afternoon. But the other thing to consider too is that like statistically, the average age that people inherit is 60-ish. So meaning the beneficiaries, they're in their 60s. So keep that in mind. Like when you're calling like expireds, these people are like all age demographics, but they're probably younger and still working. So more often than not, when somebody is inheriting, they're probably older, which means they're probably not on the schedule of waking up at 5 a.m. and doing cold plunges and working. You know what I'm saying?
And then, like, let's say I get the Zoom appointment or the in-person appointment. When you're sending like the pre-listing packet and stuff, do you send the CMA along with that, or no?
Pre-listing package, yeah, I would always send a CMA with the pre-listing package.
Always the CMA. Okay, got
yeah,
it.
because remember with the pre-qual, like the Zoom appointment, I view that as like it's a listing appointment, bro.
Yeah.
I pitch it like, hey, it's like a no obligation, 10, maybe 15-minute Zoom appointment where we can see each other and I can show you those 2 things very clearly, right? But I'm still gonna present to you.
I just didn't know if it was something that you only share like in person or anything like that, but
No.
that makes sense. So that way they can see it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's part of the value, that you're providing.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good questions, man. Sometimes you don't have to be good, you just have to be there. Out of like 100 emails, I might need to look at like 5. She's the shield, so like that number that's in MLS goes to her. Just saves a lot of time. I know every month that goes by, it's costing money, whether it's maintenance, taxes, insurance, things of that nature. My intention is to help. It's never try to talk you into doing anything.